Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. And today we are doing another high Elo EU West casting here on the rather beautiful Summoner's Rift map at the moment. Spirit Blossom 2 is chugging along. Looking at the team comps, very standard for higher Elo. Some of note picks: Kha'Zix and Maokai on the red side. Yorick has blasted in popularity recently. Orianna, always a really consistent pick. And Misfortune, a solid, reliable damage AD carry. Not the most safe, but able to dish out damage like no other. Meanwhile, on this blue side, we do see a Jarvan top with the Conqueror, so we're assuming that it is going to be a tanky Jarvan build with a Syndra in mid, with a Swain Senna bot lane. Now, obviously, it's Senna support with the Swain ABC, giving them an extra boost to their front line. So there's going to be the front line of Swain and Jarvan with a pick of Pantheon. So what they'll most likely be playing off of is they'll be playing off of either a Swain E, a Senna W, a Jarvan engage, or if Pantheon can catch someone out with his stun, they'll be playing in off of that. Meanwhile, on the red side, it's a lot more about individual skirmishing. Obviously, Kha'Zix wants to be in isolation as much as possible. Yorick wants to be kept alone. MF Maokai want to be sticking together more so and combining the MF and the Maokai with the Orianna. As we see an early fight here as Orianna's going to have to flash very early on. As this blue side looks to apply some early pressure. Pantheon will be taking the Raptors here, as Kha'Zix will be trying to claim his red buff with the assistance of Yorick. This, so far, is... it's like walking in a field of landmines, but half of them are duds. Pantheon now level 2. Hunting this Kha'Zix. He wants to get the stun. Will land the stun with the empowerment. Kha'Zix, though, timing the E very well. Jarvan now is engaging onto Yorick, poking him down. Conqueror will be procced. Yorick with the grasp of the Undying. Will he be able to survive? These two are very low, but Jarvan is outnumbered. Kha'Zix, Maokai are here in the fray. As Orianna is catching some cold hands from Pantheon, as he will claim the first blood. Jarvan gets out. Orianna already fallen. Now, meanwhile, bot lane is just Misfortune. So this first wave pushing in very, very quickly. Now, with Senna and Swain, this is the one thing you do not want to do. You do not want to give them any kind of lane. Sort of, you don't want them to have any kind of autonomy in the lane, because otherwise they will control this wave excellently. Swain is one of the greatest zoners I have seen so far. In the meantime, Yorick getting knocked very low. Going to have to reset, but is able to crash that wave into the top tier 1. Maokai now joins Misfortune in bot lane, as that love tap passive is what will keep Misfortune in this lane. Bonus damage on every unique target attack, as Maokai going to be punished for his overextension in the top side, as he is still only level 1, only having that E. No sort of engage or counter-engage potential, as Jarvan now going in onto the Yorick, using that shield to just nullify any damage that Yorick might be able to poke back onto the King of Demacia. As Misfortune taking some decent chunking damage from this Swain. From that eye, he sees all, his W sees everything. Swain obviously going to be building up bonus health as well. Now the issue that is on the card, as Misfortune is going to get pulled in, get rooted by the Senna snare, but Kha'Zix is here to make his acquaintance with this bot lane. The heal will come through early from the Senna. Swain is ghosting as he moves it back. Kha'Zix will engage onto the Swain. The root will land, the W will hit. Senna is the last line of defense left against this trio, but Kha'Zix able to walk out. Swain the only victim of that engagement. As Jarvan is trying to shove this wave in, not able to do so. Maokai flashing forward, hits the W, hits the Q onto the Senna. Going to be moving back. Pantheon is here though. Will he be able to catch the Misfortune? Does an Opsa stun for the Maokai, possibly a misclick. Will pick up the Maokai kill. Waiting for another rotation of abilities, but not going to be able to claim it, as Misfortune picks up a second kill. Using that flash. All summoner spells from the bot laners used, as it is now back to an even Steven game, and that autonomy that I said was so precious for this Senna and Swain is now gone, as Misfortune is 2 kills up. Senna opting to build some attack speed, most likely building into the static shift first, possibly even going for the Berserker's Greaves early on. Really helping her dish out as many Qs as possible, as Senna Q does reduce cooldown on auto attack. And this man right here is going to be very important to this game, seeing as there are potentially 3 squishy targets. The Kha'Zix is going to be... It's going to have the a very important job this game to try and neutralize the threat that this Swain, that this Senna can bring. As Maokai going to be pulled in by the Swain here. 2 stacks from him. Forced to back away. Now, in terms of itemization for this red side, you kind of need a Liandry's on someone that will most likely be the Maokai. There is no real consistent DPS. It's all mostly burst, outside of possibly the Yorick, depending on the build he goes. He is going for the Grasp of the Undying, so I'm assuming he's going to go for a slightly more durability-based build, possibly picking up the Triforce early, and building into, say, a Sundered Sky with a Black Cleaver. I mean, just looking at this game, there's scaling on both sides, there's some useful tools on both, but I do think that the blue side edges out if the game goes on longer than it should. There's Maokai lying in wait. Waiting on the Ignite, which is about to come up. The Hex Slash is also available. He will charge it, he will prime it, goes in onto the Swain. Will he be able to knock the Q back in? Yes, he will. He lands the stun onto the Swain, and Misfortune is able to clean up the kill. Perfect timing as the Drake is now alive. Yorick just putting so much pressure onto this Jarvan, but more pressure makes the diamond brighter. As MF, Kha'Zix and Maokai, and now the forces in the bot lane, and Kha'Zix wants to claim a kill. Pantheon gets a consolation prize of the Maokai. The Wise Mystical Tree is dead. And now Pantheon potentially looking for more. Lands the stun onto the Kha'Zix. Would use that wall of spears to block the Misfortune damage as Kha'Zix is knocked low. No longer in a HP range to be able to reliably take the Drake. He has to reset. But 2-0 and 2, this Kha'Zix will be very happy indeed. And Misfortune will also be very glad that she is ahead. Now picking up that Vamp Scepter, building into the Bloodthirster. Jarvan with a pickaxe and 2 longswords. Not too great when it comes to fighting this Yorick in top lane. He can just kind of out-sustain any kind of fighting that Jarvan wants to bring, as this is one place we've not seen a lot of action in the mid lane, as we pan back up to top. Jarvan in the cage. Will he be able to make a cage for himself? Try and get out. He will use the Cataclysm, flash out immediately, but Yorick will flash behind him and pick up the kill. As it is no longer quiet on the top side front. And Jarvan takes a death. Now, speaking of quiet times, we have seen this mid lane be very, very quiet, but Orianna has the vision. She will go in using the Shockwave. Will she be able to claim the kill? Syndra will flash away. As now, Jarvan with Yorick underneath the turret. The Maiden is hammering on, but here is Pantheon. Sound Olympus, because Pantheon is here. And claims that kill onto the Yorick in top lane, who now has those plated steel caps. Picking up the Phage as well, so most likely building into that Trinity Force as well. Now, backing about this bot lane, Senna with the Negatron Cloak. Obviously, Senna has natural scalings with crit chance, so picking that up early is a lot more meaningful than just in itself. As Maokai, the Nature's Grasp comes through, and the bullet time is here to follow. Swain Demonic Ascension will be used to give himself some bonus HP to survive that engage. Having to flash away as well. Both ults on the bot side used to try and get any kind of consolation kill, but no backup from Kha'Zix. It's Maokai and Misfortune alone as they look to try and claim the kill. Turret will be targeting Maokai in this engagement. Will go down. Maokai will fall. And Misfortune is not in a great spot to carry on fighting, so back she will go. But a kill on to this Swain is always going to be appreciated. Misfortune picking that one up, and this has so far been perfect. But outside of this, Senna now in a rough spot, as Misfortune looks to potentially take her down. Now, Kha'Zix eyeing up the proxying Jarvan as he falls rather quickly. Right place, right time. The bug has caught his prey. Misfortune now just looking to try and take the back. Realizes that there's potential for the Pantheon to interrupt. As once again, we turn to mid lane, and it looks like there was a kill at some point, as Syndra is down a death and Orianna is up a kill. We didn't get a chance to see that, but now that changes everything for mid lane, as Orianna has that Insurgence of Gold. Speaking of gold, Yorick claiming 3 of the 4 plates available in top. And now, this first Drake is still alive. It is a mountain Drake. This Drake could mean everything for these two teams. Neither of these junglers are going to want to surrender it to the other side, as Yorick now goes back in onto Jarvan. Will land the cage, will land the Q. The goblins are assisting. The ghouls are giving. Kha'Zix pops the Void Assault. As now he potentially is caught in a bad spot here. Shockwave will be catching on to Senna. As Kha'Zix looks to take her down, she will fall. Senna goes down as the Nature's Grasp will come through. Kha'Zix is down to the Syndra. As Pantheon looking to try and get any poke damage on Orianna as much as he can. Down to 2/3 is Orianna, as Maokai is there to assist. But Senna has fallen. That long-range poke is now gone. All you have is the Syndra. As Jarvan now in top. Taking a little bit of a breather. But Yorick is not backing down. This Mountain Drake is still alive. These resistances could prove detrimental to both sides. As the less damage that gets taken, the more likely it is that fights are more longer. As Yorick engaged upon by Jarvan with Senna backing him up. Cataclysm will come through. Here comes the Dawning Shadow. The Dawning Shadow will take it down, and Jarvan gets the kill onto the Yorick. As the Drake is now being taken by this Kha'Zix. Knowing that Senna's on top side, knowing that the numbers weigh in favour of bot. Maokai catching out by Pantheon. He's there to say hi, as Pantheon doesn't even realise Kha'Zix is taking the Drake. But now, looking for some kind of skirmish here. Pantheon will go forward. Bullet time comes through. Syndra is going to go low. Will she fall? Kha'Zix will pick up that kill. Kha'Zix is now on the chase. On the chase, on the chase he is. He's looking for Pantheon, looking for Senna. The Shockwave catches both, and both will fall. As now the Demonic Ascension picks up one. Can he carry on? The Conqueror will be progged as Maokai falls just at the end. Swain getting some kind of consolation prize in the form of 2 kills there, as that potentially brings him back into the game, as Jarvan will die once more. But in trade for the turret there, as they will claim the first turret. Quite odd that a Jarvan is able to out-turret damage a Yorick, but he say more. He say more. But Yorick now, not to be underhanded, is looking to take this turret himself. The Demolished Proc will claim that last plate in top tier 1. And it looks like the turret will go down in a matter of moments. Not even 14 minutes, and both tier 1s in top have fallen. Now, just looking, while we have a little bit of moment of downtime, looking at the items being picked up. Most people with their first items in this game. Senna with the Phantom Dancer. That is not something I have seen very often, but Cataclysm here. Jarvan not giving me a chance to speak, not giving me a chance to breathe as he goes in onto the Yorick. The ghouls are being ruthless. They're kids at a Christmas party, and they are jumping all over the furniture. But Yorick, the uncle who cannot handle it, is looking for a fight. He will take a death. Jarvan and Syndra are working together on that one. The potatoes are served and Christmas dinner is saved. As meanwhile, in bot, Senna and Swain needing to be respected here. We see Maokai and Misfortune not wanting to try and step too close to them. They're trying to be as respectful as possible. One wrong move and that Swain will make them into shish kebab. But the Nature's Grasp will come through. Here it comes. The bullet time follows suit. Demonic Ascension popped. Dawning Shadow not in time to save the Swain, but Jarvan has teleported in. Misfortune will flash away from the flag and drag. Maokai now rooted up by the Senna Snare as she's trying to get as many orders off as possible, but here comes the paparazzi. Yorick and Syndra are here to play. Both will fall, Syndra and Jarvan. But Misfortune is now the target of scrutiny. Pantheon picks that kill up. Looks at the Maokai. Will he be able to get will anyone be able to kill this Maokai, in fact? But no. Pantheon falls to the Yorick as now looking to claim his next turret. But Orianna is here. Kha'Zix is here in suit. It's a 5 on bot lane. And it's 5 in favour of the red side here as it goes to 11 to 20. 3k gold difference. As Swain, the last line of defense, no demonic ascension available as the ghouls damage pokes on through. There seems to be no escape, but Kha'Zix has decided your fate. You shall fall. Syndra now, with the unleash power available, will pick up that Yorick with the flash in bot. Orianna just looking for this mid tier 1 now. It's all quiet on the Rift now, as we are going to just take a quick second to admire the item choices here. We have a Profane Hydra and Eclipse for this Jarvan. Not opting to be a sort of tanky frontline, more so opting to be an aggressive pick champ. But Orianna is going to be the target of Pantheon and Senna. As the Javelin comes through, will not be able to hit the Orianna, will not be able to claim that kill. Maokai defending, the shockwave goes wide, but Kha'Zix says hi, and Senna falls down, and it seems like a matter of seconds before Pantheon falls as well. Kha'Zix and Orianna using that incredible burst damage to take him down. And that brings me to one of my points. There is a very big lack of tankiness. There is a big lack of sustain on this blue side. The Jarvan, while he is incredibly important, while he is important when it comes to the engage, he doesn't live for very long, and there's not many people he can one-shot. Misfortune and Orianna being the only real targets here. Now the flag can proc the Edge of Night in Kha'Zix's inventory, but will the Drag be able to claim the kill? Now Pantheon with the Black Cleaver and the Sundered Sky. We already see 2 sets of plated steel caps picked up on this red side, so the Black Cleaver reducing resistances, especially with the addition of that Mountain Drake, will make things quite dicey. But if Pantheon can get long, drawn-out fights, he will be very, very happy with that Conqueror proccing as well, and the Sundered Sky stacks on top of that. And we looked as Syndra has the Black Fire Torch, possibly going into a bursting item to burst down these squishies. But speaking of, Misfortune is the target. Syndra and Senna are the deliverers. And did somebody say just eat? Because that's a shutdown to Syndra. Now Yorick again on this Jarvan. Not able to flag and drag out. Has to Cataclysm onto the Yorick. Will be able to flag and drag out after the fact. He will get away, but the Nature's Grasp comes through from the Maokai. Daunt the Shadows will not be able to keep Senna alive much longer, as Kha'Zix will take down Syndra. Pantheon falls in the front as well, and Swain is down as well. Jarvan now going on in. Not able to pick up any kind of constellation kill. It is Senna against 4. 3 on the Drake, Yorick in bot. And as the Maiden cries, that turret is soon to be Yorick's. As this game is slowly falling out of favour for this blue side. They are down 14 kills. And it is just getting worse. As Yorick picks up a nice 700 gold for that turret. And Senna not able to get online so far in this game. Swain put far behind very early on as these ghouls damage. They are turning from annoying toddlers into ravenous teens as they are annihilating the members of this blue side. Now the Cosmic Drive will be picked up for Syndra. Able to sort of move around a little bit more, but Maokai looking for something here. Gets the ward in the blue bush as Pantheon is taking down the blue buff. Scryer's Bloom will be used as well to catch an eye on Syndra on top of things. Now, there is no objective up, so we're expecting to see some quiet times unless Yorick might have a clarification. The Flag and Drag will take him out of the wall, but the ghouls are continuing on. Maokai with that Locket of the Iron Solari, his armor is stacking. And building into the Unending Despair with that Aegis. Senna now pushing forward onto the Maokai. Having to flash away, but still the damage is negligible. Jarvan taking decent chunking from this Yorick. He has not missed an E, but the Cataclysm comes out underneath the turret, having to flash away as the turret is focusing on his maidenness. Pantheon did use the Skyfall, did use the Grand Starfall to try and catch out that Yorick, but no fruit will be of this labour. Senna going to be put in a bad spot here. The Ghouls put her down to half HP. And just as we thought it was getting quiet, Atakan has spawned to give us another fight, another fray. And the key ones that will be to look at if a fight does occur in the near future. This Misfortune, the bullet time with that Bloodthirster, with that Mortal Reminder, and the Orianna Shockwave, combined with this Kha'Zix, who is 11-2. And Maokai throwing around his little kitty cats. We'll take a reset here. As this blue side, they really need Senna to come online. They need the scaling champs to be in a position where they can win the fight. Because once you get to a certain point now, these champs will run the game. Kha'Zix is inclined to fall off. So taking advantage of that, you know, that powerful early game, but slightly weak late game will be the deciding factor, really, in this game. But now it is all on the red team. They have complete autonomy in this matchup. They can stop the blue team from getting whatever it is they think they can get. Jungle camps, any kind of warding, any kind of vision, any turrets. This red side will make sure that it is as hard as possible. Maokai trying to catch out the Maokai here. He does have the Giant's Belt on top of everything else, so he is going to be taking very, very little damage. Unless Pantheon is able to stack up that Black Cleaver. Meanwhile, the Meowies, the Maokai's meows, setting up in the bushes here. Jarvan is the target of a catch here. Will be able to escape as there is a disconnect from the Swain. Might possibly come back, but you never know. It could be a 4v5. He does return with that Run Eyes and Conqueror. Now the issue with Swain is he has no kind of over-the-top sustain. And what I mean by that is, yes, he has the Conqueror, but Kha'Zix has decided that Jarvan should fall. That lack of tankiness really proving detrimental. Demonic Ascension comes through. Bullet time will be in response. Kha'Zix goes low and he will be shut down by the Pantheon. Pantheon now having to run away from the Orianna, from the Maokai, from the Misfortune. Not going to be able to escape. As Yorick in the meantime deciding that, I don't need to be bothered with that fight. I'm just going to take your entire base. There's now 2 Black Cleavers on this blue side. 91 souls for the Senna. This game is slowly easing further and further away. Another disconnect occurs from the Swain. Yorick just not even needing to interact with Jarvan at this point. Just throwing his children at him and leaving. As there is a Krug who seems to want to join in with the ghouls there, deciding that he would rather leave his little cove and venture off into the wilderness. Baron now spawning in 40 seconds. The gold difference is just about 10k, just slightly over by about 100 gold. And you can see here, the blue team can't go anywhere without the risk of being caught out by this red side. Now Maokai is going to get caught out, is going to get stunned and locked. He does drop a decent amount of HP as that Black Cleaver does stack. Nature's Grasp will come through. Bullet time comes through over the wall. Pantheon is the first to fall. Swain is not long after. Rooted now is Kha'Zix. Shockwave will go through on top of him. Cataclysm will claim the kill. The Jarvan takes the gold. But Yorick is now in the back line. Jarvan now looking to see if he can get a constellation prize. But all he gets instead is death by robot. Orianna picks that one up, and now it might be all about pushing this base in. 18 stack Magi on this Orianna. It's kind of a silent game winner here, but it looks like that's going to be all she wrote as the Nexus will fall. That's GG.